The storm hit the docks just as she stepped off the ferry. Rain slicked the wooden planks and turned the horizon into a wall of gray. To anyone watching, she was just another drifter. A woman in a weathered leather jacket, duffel bag slung over one shoulder, boots clicking against wet wood. But her eyes told a different story. Eyes like that didn't wander without purpose. She walked toward the naval checkpoint with the same calm stride one might have walking into a grocery store, except her destination wasn't for the faint-hearted naval base Coronado, home of the U.S. Navy SEALs. Security noticed her immediately. A civilian trying to get inside that was always suspicious, but this one had something else about her. "Ma'am, stop right there," the guard called, stepping forward. She didn't stop. She simply reached into her jacket slowly and produced a worn military ID card. The name read, Lieutenant Alexandra Hale. The guard frowned. "This ID expired 3 years ago. You can't." Before he could finish, two MPS approached from behind. One of them whispered something into his earpiece, his expression hardening. "That's enough," the taller MP said, gripping her arm. "Ma'am, you're under arrest for impersonating a naval officer, specifically a SEAL. You have the right to remain silent." She didn't resist. In fact, she almost looked relieved. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. The air smelled faintly of bleach and damp concrete. Across the steel table sat Commander Briggs, a man who'd spent 30 years in the Navy and wore his skepticism like a second skin. "You're telling me you were a SEAL?" Briggs asked, leaning forward. "You, Alexandra Hale, we've checked every record. There's no female on any SEAL team roster in your claim service years. None." Her hands were cuffed, but her voice stayed even. "That's because those records are classified beyond your clearance." Briggs smirked. "Convenient." She didn't reply. Her gaze drifted to the one-way mirror. Someone was watching. "You know what's funny?" Briggs continued. "We get wannabes all the time. They read books, memorize some lingo, maybe even get a fake trident tattoo. But you didn't make a single rookie mistake in your terminology. That's impressive, but impressive doesn't make it true." She said nothing, and that silence made Briggs oddly uneasy. Hours later, as MPs prepared to transfer her to federal custody, the door swung open and an older man stepped in. The room seemed to shrink around him. His uniform was immaculate. His ribbons could have filled a wall. His presence was a storm contained in human form. Admiral Robert Kane. The MP stiffened. Briggs shot to his feet. "At ease," Kane said, eyes fixed on the woman. "Remove the cuffs." Briggs hesitated. "Sir, she's due it." The cuffs clicked open. Kane walked around the table, his gaze not leaving her for a second. Then with a tone that was more request than command, he said, "Roll up your left sleeve." She did. There inked into her skin was a tattoo that no faker would dare replicate. Not the standard SEAL trident, but a specific variant awarded only to members of a covert, one-off classified team that had never been acknowledged publicly. Kane stared at it for a long moment. His voice, when it came, was quiet. "That tattoo's authentic." Briggs blinked. "Sir, what are you saying?" Kane looked at him sharply. "I'm saying this woman isn't impersonating anyone. She is who she says she is. Her name wasn't Alexandra Hale when she joined. Back then, she was just Alex, a 19-year-old from the wrong side of Detroit who enlisted in the Navy to escape a life going nowhere. Through a combination of sheer grit, unshakable mental discipline, and uncanny tactical instincts, she was quietly pulled from the regular Navy track into something that didn't officially exist. Project Sentinel. It was a temporary experimental team designed to assess whether extreme physical and psychological training could be applied to operatives outside the standard mold. No records were made public. The missions they undertook were buried deep in classified archives. Hers was a service that didn't earn medals or parades, only scars, and one particular tattoo given only when you'd done something the government would never admit to needing. Then came the mission that ended everything. A Black Ops insertion into hostile territory. The extraction failed. 2 of her team died. She survived barely and woke up in a hospital under an assumed name. Told her service was terminated for operational security. She'd been erased from history. Kane dismissed Briggs and sat across from her. "I thought you'd never come back," he said quietly. She met his gaze. I wouldn't have if I had a choice. What happened? She leaned back. One of ours didn't die that night, Admiral. He was taken. Kane's eyes hardened. That's not possible. We confirmed. No, you confirmed what they wanted you to. I've been tracking intel for the last year. He's alive and he's in enemy hands. I can't do this